Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Sunday shop, do 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 do. Ah, what a way to start. Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, good evening, bonjour, bonsoir, willkommen, good abend. Hey, konnichiwa, hola, ciao. Yeah, all the words. And I'm not saying them to anyone, so it doesn't really matter, as it's just me here at the moment. So, yes, waffle on Sharpe. Apparently, there's a couple of weird fishy things going on in America this weekend, so that's probably where people are. Fishtober Sheller something or other going on. I don't know what it's called. I do. There's two things going on at the same time. Hello, Kay. I'm good, thank you. Are yourself? And good day, Mark, the Marquis. Not the Marquis, the Marquis. Slight difference. And yes, I'm starting as I mean to go on. Ooh, I got a bit carried away with winding people up on Facebook. So there we go. Don't worry, not fishy people. I'm doing that on Monday, tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I will be upsetting quite a lot of people with my video I'm going to be putting out. No, it's not on my rods and poles. It's something that came to me in a moment of inspiration. Brain fart. This is probably going to tank and upset a lot of people, but hey, there we go. You have to wait till tomorrow to find out what it's about. What were this week's videos? I really don't remember. What was Monday's? That's not good when you can't remember what video. Oh, yeah, that was it. Shrimp experiment finale. That was the one. Yeah, at some point, Mark, you'll see me lovingly stroking my rods and waggling my tips around. Um, Even some close-ups on my tips. Yeah. So yes, Monday was the culmination of the shrimp experiment, leaving them outside. Seemed to work quite well. We had more shrimp than we started with, and they were bigger. So I'd expect on a year with slightly better weather, i.e., not so ridiculously hot and dry, and with perhaps some feeding or maybe even water changes or filtration. Pardon me, then might have even better results. But I think I'll try some fisheries outside next year. As those shrimpies have gone into the mini flex to add to the colony in there, although some of them are missing again now. And I stuck some in the Cory tank, as that is basically a cool water tank, and they seem to do well in cooler water. So I figured, why not? We'll chuck 30 odd cherry shrimp in there and see what happens. Well, randomly, we've had that Pleco grow out tank down there. The last couple of days, I just noticed there's a cherry shrimp in there somehow. I have no idea how. I swear they climb out the tanks and crawl around at night. They must do, because that's the tank that the shrimp that went outside were in, and it got emptied completely, scrubbed out, degunked. It is the same gravel that that got ran under the sink and shook about and in a sieve and everything to get all the shrimp poop and worms out of it. Howdy, Silver Creek. Goose Captain. It wouldn't bloody surprise me, to be honest, if Zach did do that. It really would not surprise me. Booming notifications. And it's always notifications for stuff I've already watched as well. Maybe I shouldn't just turn my computer on to upload videos and to do live streams. Maybe I should use it other times and it might have less notifications come through. But yeah, so that's what's gone on there. The reason we got less shrimp than we did have is because I just sold a bunch of stuff today. Shrimps, bristly noses, snailies. Best part of £200 worth went down to the local fish stop shop today. And yes, I did get the normal confused looks off of some customers. Ones where they get their new bag of like 1 or 3 new fishes and they're really chuffed. And then this guy turns up and they're looking at him in the back going, "Ooh, ooh." And then some dude turns up at the counter and goes, "There's 50 bristle noses in there. Long fins, super red, pink snails, blue snails, shrimp. Hello, Sky." Yeah. They just bought 1 or 2 fish and someone brings in 180 odd. But it was a good job I did. It was a good job I called this week. Because when I called, I got a thank you called. We're we're completely out of bristle noses. Result. Yep, cool. Yeah, I've got bristles. You can have them. That's not a problem. Yeah, cool. And then I hear one of the other staff go, "Is that John?" "Yeah." "Has he got any shrimp?" "We're really low on shrimp." So yeah, so that worked out well. So we now have food money for the next few weeks. Marriott, my darling, my love. And Clarky's here as well. So big hug to Marriott, because always hug a Marriott. And hashtag I am the Blair Witch. Yeah, so that's this Friday's video was me wandering down in Hargham Woods. Spelled Hargham, pronounced Hargham, or Hartham even, depending on how Norfolk you are. Had a bit of an encounter down there, but yes, most people thought it was like watching the Blair Witch Project, except, real. So that led me to thinking perhaps that might be a good idea. I start wandering around spooky places in the dark. Given the time of year where it's getting dark at a sensible hour, I won't be too long before it's dark at 4:30. It's now getting dark before 7, so it won't be long before it's really early. So yeah, thinking of maybe doing a few local, places I can either walk or cycle to on my own. Just going for a wander around at night, either dusk time or full dark. See what we can discover. See how weird and spooky places get. Especially graveyards, because let's be honest, graveyards are always fun at night. And you never know what you're going to encounter. Oh, I read that wrong first time, Clark. I thought he, I thought you were just teabagging your new fish, but debagging, that's okay. You take them out of the bags, I'll keep putting them into the bags. That works for me. I'm getting better at putting fish in bags than I am taking them out now. Oh, itch. But what shiny new fishes have you got? That is the question that everyone is dying to know the answer to. So I figure I'll say it before anyone goes. When I cross the pond, I'm expecting a ghost hunt for my missing finger, still trying to find it. Have you looked up your nose? Because, I mean, people find all sorts up there. You know. Well, Matt's doing good today. Still no bodies to hide. That is always a bonus. Although, if you do decide to go on a spree, you can hide out here. Looked up there many times. Yeah, I was thinking, what other RFI do people pick? Or rootle about in for a bit if there's a bit of an itch going on. Triple check that one. Yeah, did you find the doctor's, the older proctologist's watch from the last time? Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad they've made all the various cameras and things they use smaller these days. Took pictures last night of the Hunter's full moon with Jupiter right above it. I did see that when I went out last night to steal some willow for Latte Bunny. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, see the big old moon there with just see Jupiter just above it. Yeah, that was cool. Both hands were on his shoulders. Yeah. The last thing you want when you're getting an exam back there is to feel two hands on your shoulders. Yeah, that's. But hey, worse things happen in doctors' surgeries. Rather have that than Dr. Shipman going, I'll just uh, just draw you up a shot to help with your pain. Hello, Debbie. How are you? I'm going to use the phone. I just use my bare eyes, well, through the glasses, but it turns out I can see better at that range than I can at this range. Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be much longer before I don't need glasses. I don't think. Or I'll go the other way and I'll need long sighted glasses. That'd be weird. I make my eyes look smaller. We were made to see the stars. That we were. That we were. Being able to see the stars does help with sleep. We need less light pollution. Less street lamps. Less signs lit up. All sorts. Everything just turned off at night. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. At some point, you're going to have given everyone a membership. And I can guarantee at least two of those people won't be here. Because Shanna and I think Holly are both at Fishtoberfest or Aquasmella. whichever one it is they're at. But thank you very much nonetheless. Had cataracts removed. I was very short-sighted. Now I'm long-sighted. I think I prefer, yeah. I think I prefer being short-sighted. Being able to see things close up is, to me, especially given the hobbies I tend to choose, usually it's better to be able to see things close than it is far away. I mean, a lot of times when I'm doing the modelling, I'm like looking over my glasses because I can see better without them that close. Luckily, very little light pollution where I live. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Norfolk isn't too bad because it is relatively uninhabited. Small villages for the most part, few towns, but one city. But I do live smack bang in the middle of a town, so I don't get to see much at night when I look up. Just the main ones that you see anywhere, so Polestar, Orion, Plough, that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, Shanna's at Fishtoberfest because Bob Steenfott's there. That's why. And yes, I'm going to continue winding Shanna up about that. Don't you worry. It wouldn't be me if I didn't wind people up about things. I kind of enjoy it. It's like my entire raison d'etre. Ah, Yella's here. Howdy do. And oh, Danny boy. How you doing, Dan? Quarter of a fortnight's horse rider in town. Bang. She's going anyway. Bob was a bone. You know what I'm talking about, Debbie. Yeah, so what else have we done this week? Yeah, we sold a bunch of fisheries. Gonna have to move the snails around though, because I've noticed. Yeah, there's hardly any KH in that tank anymore. Even with weekly and bi-weekly water changes, the amount of snails in there just eat through all of the KH. So we're gonna pull the snailies out of that one, spread them around in the others, then have to sort out because there is a couple of criblets in there with the limia, and yeah, figure something out. We might have enough room for another batch of bristlies at some point. And thank you very much, Mark, for being a member for 4 months, and Yella for 3 months. And howdy, Ricky, how you doing? What else? Yes, so the videos, and obviously I did have the week off work, which is woohoo. Looking forward to going back for the rest, but I did have a week off work. Thinking, what do you mean go back to work for a rest, Sharpe? Well, I decided I would get all my spring cleaning, as it were, done a bit late in the year. So had a good clean up and clean out and degunk and declutter, and walking into Brookshire's for a few market items. Or is it Brookshire's or Brookshire's? Is it the English or the American pronunciation? Smash that like button. Gone too quick, me. I got nothing on what I've done. Yeah, I wrote myself out a to-do list of this day you're doing this day you're doing this day you're doing this day you're doing this, blah, blah, blah. Because otherwise I would have got to yesterday and gone, oh crap, I ain't done nothing. So Monday it was water changes and fishy tanky stuff and video. Tuesday I did upstairs, so bedroom and bathroom. The man cave is going to take a week on its own, I think. Wednesday downstairs. Then Thursday I got really, really lucky in more than one way. Because Monday weather was okay, Tuesday weather was okay, Wednesday it threw it down with rain and blew a hoolie. Thursday it was relatively still, sunny and nice. Friday it threw it down with rain and blew a hoolie. Why is that important, Sharpe? Well, because Thursday was the day I put aside. It was going to be my day to go into Norwich, not buy stuff or wander around fish shops, to wander around and look like an absolute weirdo and idiot waving a camera about. So yeah, we took a lot of videos, trying to avoid getting random people on camera, which is harder than you'd think, especially in some of the busier places. Yes, human fry being awkward. So I filmed video in or at St. Stephen's Church, which is where my shadow figure, came from. We did Elm Hill, which is the most complete medieval street in Norwich. Lots of blue plaques and buildings that have been around since the 14 or 1500s and haunted. Then we wandered from there down to the cathedral, where I say we, it was just me, weird. Filmed a quick one outside of the memorial to Edith Cavell, whichever you want to call her. She should have been sanctified, not Mother Teresa. Oh, sorry, she wasn't a Roman Catholic. That'd be why. Then we did outside the cathedral in the cloisters, where I went and did all my waffle and spiel and got all the history stuff out of the way before we went inside the cathedral, where I tried to be very, very quiet because there was lots of people around, including guided tours. Then from there went down to the Cow Tower, filmed a video there, by which point I'd had enough. My legs were starting to ache, and the walk all the way back to the bus station was uphill all the way. So yeah, we did that on Thursday. There we go. So we've got lots of videos to come from my day trip to Norwich. I literally just spent the bus fare, so yay. Gave me some ideas for some other videos to film next time I go up there, so I'll be sorted for historical stuff for quite a while. I think I've actually got 12 videos ready to go. Correct saying we, because I'm always hiding in the bushes talking to you. And oh, very nice, Debbie. Got some Gertrudes, Suda McGills, Purple Harlequins, and some Bloody Mary shrimp. And the prices have shot up. Yes, they have. The prices are getting a bit. On Maidenhead are fairly. to start with, but you know, prices are going up, so Maidenhead are getting even scarier. It is an Anglican cathedral, okay, but it was originally a Roman Catholic. Then during the peasants revolt, 1540 something, there were some issues with it being raided and shot up, and all the Roman Catholic stuff being destroyed. Then, yeah, then following the Reformation or the restoration of the monasteries, it became an Anglican cathedral. And thank you very much, Danny Boy, sticking a linky poo to the Blair Witch video. Yes, Norwich does have two cathedrals. I just they're opposite ends of the city, so I didn't want to do all that walking in one day. My hips and knees were giving me grief anyway. Lots of walking on hills. I know Norfolk hills, right? But hills, cobblestones, and walking around, leaning backwards with a camera like that, and yeah, my hips were giving me grief. Perhaps another day the Roman Catholic one, but that's not actually that old, I don't think. So I say not actually that old. It might only be 500 or 600 years old. As opposed to dating from around about the time of the Norman conquest. You know it's bad when you're doing the history for the video, the flavor text, as it were, and you realize you're talking in years that only have three digits in them. Yeah, talking. Yeah. And the Kingdom of East Anglia was split into two dioceses. Really? Oh, geez, we're going back now. Yeah, when we start talking about the Kingdom of East Anglia, before England was a country, yeah, going back a bit. But yes, Norwich, two cathedrals, 52 churches, 365 pubs is what it was. Most of the churches are still standing. A lot of them aren't churches anymore. I think one's a skate park now. One's an art gallery. As I was doing my wander, I found four more churches, 4 or 5. I didn't even realise were there because places I'd never really wandered when I was just wandering around Norwich buying things. Yep, different pub for each day of the year, exactly. And a church for every week of the year. Debbie, yay, and everyone else too lazy to type everyone's name. Energy efficient K, not lazy. There's a difference. As Bill Gates said, he'd rather employ a lazy person because they'll figure out the easy and quick way to get the job done. I want to get sneaky. Afternoon, go fishing. I start at Maidenhead, see what's in town, then head to the independent shops and find them at a better price. Yeah. Nothing against Maidenhead Aquatics because the fish I've got from there have always been healthy and done really well. But yeah, their prices can be a bit butt clenching. For example, way back when I got Fred and Ginger, well, actually, when I got Bertie, the sunshine bristlenose, mother to a million bristlenoses, in here somewhere. Where you at, Bertie? You hiding? Yeah, she's hiding. When I got her, she was. I think I paid £30 for her, and I think I paid similar for Ginger. I think I think I paid. I think Ginger was 35. She's a longfin super red. Um, but my actual LFS Swallow, just down the road that I supply now, yeah, they sell my super reds for a tenner. Yeah, yeah, good point, Dan. Sometimes if you're looking for a certain fish or shrimp or whatever, you just see it and I'm buying it for that one. Yeah, something you've been looking for a while and you see it, you buy it because by the time you go back, they might have sold it. Howdy, Chewy. Made as a good store, but Metalhead would be better. Oh, for sure. And Scotty Aquati, previously known as Scott's Aquatics. How you doing, gents? Same, only pets at home for 40 miles. That's what I cherish. A wee sneaky fishing afternoon is a trek. Yes. I think I may have a lamprey killie amongst. Well, there's worse things to accidentally find in your tank than a lamprey killie. Um, I seem to remember sometime way back, someone bought a bunch of, I think it was shell dwellers. I think they were supposed to be multis. And they posted on Facebook, I bought these multis and one looks a bit different to all the others. And it's like, that's not a multi, that's a convict. Oh, whoops. But you can understand if you've got mixed species in a tank, it's very easy to catch the wrong thing. Trust me, I know. I was trying to catch shrimp this morning, caught CPDs. Well, I've only got one, so I caught the same CBD. Must have been 3 times. Caught the pygmy cory. There's only one of them left now, unfortunately. Yeah. And yes, I know cories should be in groups of 6 or more. But looking at the prices of pygmy cories lately, sorry, little pygmy, but you're not getting any new friends anytime soon. Plus, I've got nowhere to quarantine them. I need to sell about another 300 bristle noses before I have a spare quarantine tank. Do I have to pay extra for a previously worn Sharpie shirt? Yes, you do, I'm afraid. Yeah. Yeah, if you want my manly musk in it, then it's going to cost a little more. Although, no, used boxer shorts are available for shipping costs. That's it. Want to get more Julia? They wanted too much for them. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say I am lucky with where I am because we've got the Maidenhead in Norwich, which is what 18 miles away. We've got Swallow Aquatics, which is my just down the road. Shipping, yes, shipping costs. Your Swallow is about 8 mile. And there's Express in Dis, Pets at Home in Thetford Garden Centre, AK Reptiles and Aquatics in Watton, Taveram Garden Centre, Highway Garden Centre. What other ones? Highway, I wouldn't buy fish from if you paid me. We've been in there like 3 times, and every time they're either completely mislabeled or they just look really ill. They just don't look happy. When the electric blue of car are looking grey in colour, you know there's something wrong with them. I bought plants from there, and the plants were fine. I mean, that Italian Val, the one that ends somewhere there at the moment. Yeah, there's 4-foot long leaves on it. So I think it might be a giant Val. Yeah, it's. I know you already got a pair of them, yellow. Why do you think I left the dirty ones on the line for you? God dear. That one, yeah. So that is just a Vallisneria. So if that's the one you mean, if it's that one, that's just a standard crypt. Wendetii, Anubius, random other crypts. That's about what's in there. There is some eczema moss in there somewhere, and plenty of black hair algae. Yeah. There was something else as well, but I think that got obliterated. Yeah, I'll say it's probably about due a few things being chopped back or pulled out and moved about, and different plants being put in there. Ideally, I'd like to get some Limnophilus sessiflora in there, but for some reason that's become really hard to get hold of around here lately. Or if you can get hold of it, they want about £6 for something like that big. You know, really? I ain't paying that much for that. Oh, I thank you very much, Sky. I can't take much credit. I just stuck some wooden plants and literally dropped the rocks in where they ended up, and that's just kind of what happened naturally. I'm not what you'd call an aquascapist. I just put stuff in and see how it goes. If it works well, it works well. If it don't, well, don't do it again. I don't extend that to the fish, by the way. I do the research. Pets at Home, yeah, I'll say Pets at Home normally has the Sessiflora or Sessifolia, whichever one it is here, but there's some reason the last several times I've been in, it's been literally like 2 stalks about that long, looking like it's nearly dead. So it's like, nah. Especially when I'm adding it to a tank that's got bristle noses in there. You know what bristle noses do to stem plants. I just said do. Yes, I know. Do, dee da da da. This is what I say to you. And that's the closest I'm ever going to get to doing a Sting impression, unless I decide to start screaming Roxanne at the top of my voice. Act my age, not my shoe size. Well, in that case, I'm going to act even more childish, because my shoe size is tiny. My shoe size in UK sizes is 5.5. I think, which in American is about a 6. Yes, I could, if I wanted to, buy children's size shoes. Has the British Chiclet Association call at the end their website doesn't work? A 49 UK 49 is going to be about like that. Maybe a 49 European. I don't know. I've not really got anything to do with the British Chiclet Association. Yeah, UK and US is fairly similar. Now, within a size or two, so you kind of get a guesstimation of how accurate it is. Yeah, 13 and a half is a big foot. It's basically over twice the length of my feet. Our redesign. What they were finally updating it from the 1980s. I'm guessing the website has been the same since it was first put up, and they've not changed anything ever since. To be fair, I don't even look at them. I mean, I'm a member of the Facebook group, which I think is as close as it gets to having to be a member of the East Anglian Cichlid Society. For some reason, they don't like smaller cichlids; they only like the big ones. They have two websites. Yeah, they've probably not figured out how to take the old one down. They probably stopped paying the people who were responsible for the upkeep, and old one is a link to the new one. Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, actually, yeah, that's quite an amusing one. I did get a snotty comment on one of my old model videos. Someone asked for a link to where to buy the kit. So I replied, "Sorry, I haven't got a link because the video's like 3.5 years old. I can't even remember where I got it from." And they got the right ump with me for not providing them the correct link and exactly where to get it from for the best price. I'm like, you know what the kit is because it says it in the description. Just Google it yourself. I've no idea why they only do like the big cichlid. I think it's one of those fish snob things where I keep monster fish, I keep discus, I have jaguar cichlids, I got cribs. I'm the only one of them that actually breeds for profit and is a supplier. So yeah, they just got literally no interest in the smaller stuff. So what they should call it is the East Anglian We Like Big Fish Group. Um, hardly find shoes when I do it myself. I mean, yeah, I if I were to buy my actual size, it would be a nightmare. So I can kind of get where you're at with buying shoes the right size. So I tend to buy a 7, which is a size and a half too big, but I like to have a bit of movement room in my shoes. I don't like them to be tight because I'm heavy. My feet are small. My feet have gone. They spread out sideways quite a bit, and they've been injured many a time. So a little extra room doesn't hurt. But yeah, if I was trying to buy size 5.5s, it's one of those where it's the top end of kiddie sizes and it's the bottom end of adult sizes. So you'll never find the one you actually want. There'll be something. Oh, we haven't got those in this size, but we do have these. And you look, they're bloody hideous. Well, they've got like animal paw prints on the bottom or something if it's the kiddie size. It's like, and that doesn't bother me just like wandering about day to day. But if I'm going somewhere, I'm leaving footprints behind. I do not want to be leaving paw prints in the snow. So many kids shoes you wish you could wear. I suppose some of the light up ones are kind of cool, but I can't really see me wandering around a graveyard at night. They make shoes that small that don't have Velcro. Don't knock Velcro shoes. They're awesome. I might even actually undo them then and do them back up whenever I put them on. Because with my trainers and Steelies and, well, basically any of my shoes, they get tied up when I buy them and double knotted, and then yeah, that's it. They kind of stay like that. Oh, another change to Nightwish. I did kind of see something that Floor might be leaving, but yeah, I've not heard anything official yet. Be a sad day if she does, though. Velcro Spider-Man shoes. Oh, the bass player. Ah, yeah. Well, I know Yuka was only in there as a, I say only, he was basically a session musician until they could find someone permanent, unless Marco's gone back. And another guitar player wouldn't hurt, because with Troy taking on more of the singing responsibilities and also playing the bouzouki, the Ilian pipes, and all the various other whistles and flutes that he plays, having to play the guitar on top of that is a bit of hard work, I'd have thought. 888, yeah, that is the other good thing. If I could get shoes in, because people's feet, people are getting bigger, feet are getting bigger as well. So at some point, kiddie sizes will go up to a point where I can buy like a size 7 as a kiddie's shoe. It'll fit me perfectly fine. And it'll be 20% cheaper because there won't be any VAT on it. Because children's shoes don't have VAT or value added tax, whereas adult shoes do. Yeah, which did mean when I was at school that my feet were even smaller. Uh, yeah. By the time we got to like fourth or fifth year at high school, my shoes were still coming out of the kids section, and everyone else's were coming out of the adult section. Exactly. Cheaper. Yeah, more money to buy fish. Which comic book artist has done both Batman and Spider-Man and was a prospect for a baseball team? Pass. Not a clue. Unicorns and rainbows. That's the girls' shoes, not the boys' shoes. Although zombie corns are cool. got nice shoes from when I was in sales for when I'm trying to impress people. Yeah, I've got a pair of dress shoes for things like job interviews and weddings and things like that. And I have a pair of spats for when I want to look different and cool. So about people with big feet, they need big shoes. Exactly. And also, was it distance? If you grip the toe of the sock like so, and wrap the sock around your hand, that is supposed to be your shoe size. My hands aren't that small. Yeah. And what I yeah, look at it. It doesn't correlate to anything else. No, that is a pure myth, that one. Shelly Sean, hello sir, how are you? Been a long time. Hope all is well with you. Hope all is going well. You've not managed to injure yourself lately or do anything, and hope your father is doing well as well. Hopefully I've not put my foot in that one. Pardon me. Just a little ballet slippers worn by all. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a pair of ballet slippers. They'd be quite comfy. Although you're not going to get me toddling around on my tiptoes. Not with my feet. Definitely not. The amount of times that they've been broken, yeah, it wouldn't work well. Not just my feet, toes, tendons, ligaments. Yeah, my feet have taken more abuse than the rest of my body over the years, which takes some doing, trust me. Right, got 3 hairline fractures and a partially dislocated shoulder, but Dad's good. Well, as long as your dad's okay. I daren't ask what he managed to do this time, Sean. But I mean, I can do the partially dislocated shoulder with you because mine is partially out at the moment. Todd did a Batman story with Frank Miller, and the artwork looks like Spawn. Ah. That was a really bad movie, wasn't it? That was back in the days when comic book movies really sucked. But there you go, dislocating shoulders, complete with sound effects. Yeah, I'm wondering, did you either fall over or did you try to put your shoulder into something to force it and then did it a bit too hard? Not actually my fault. Someone came in at the backyard wanting into the house. But both scapulars never healed up right. Arthritis, tendonitis, and bone spurs and ball show. And a torn labor on my left. Yeah, bit of a mess. Fairly similar. I did a rotator cuff a couple of years ago, and that's never really been right since, but minor problem. Yeah, that is something you do notice as you get older. All those old injuries that never really bothered you in your 20s or 30s, when you start getting your mid 40s, yeah, they start getting a bit arthritic, start aching a bit. It's not a good feeling. That make it pretty busy during the day. It's always good to be a bit busy. So that's why I'm not in many streams lately, is because I'm usually at work during the day. So the early morning ones I miss because I'm still asleep, and the later at night ones in the UK at least I miss because I'm already in bed because I've got to get up for work the next day. Um, and then this week I've just been doing stuffs all week, so I've been wearing myself out. And Mary has to leave for work fairly early, so I make sure I'm up so we can have a bit of a natter before she goes to work. Because I'm good like that. While we're here and while Sean's here, there's not so many in there now because I sold a whole bunch of them, Sean. But you know, that's the reason we breed fish, isn't it? But just for Shawnee Shawnington, so he doesn't have to tell me to set up a shell dweller tank. There's the similes, pretty little fishies. Is that actually Miss Smushface? No, I think I did actually accidentally sell Mrs. Smushface. What do we have? We have a tangled up camera cable. Tangled up with... Oh, God. How many cables? How many cables can you have sticking out the side of your computer that you don't actually use? There we go. So... Schnellies and Linears. Oh, that's a gorgeous one. Gorgeous boy. With black fins. Bristlies. Sorry. Bristlies with a big bacterial bloom. More bristlies. More bristlies with a bacterial bloom. And juvenile pelvica chromis. Subocellatus. More bristlies and snailies. More bristlies and teeny tiny baby limias. There's my limia babies are having babies. And what do we have over my shoulder? Sleepy Cories. Yes, very crazy looking. What do you call it? Balasinaria. You don't want to see the angle. I'm trying to hold stuff out to get these shots. Crits, Cories, crits, more crits. Happy Cara. Oh, let's see, is Mr. Nanakara about down there anywhere? There we go. Oh. Happy Cara. Which one are you? I can't tell which one you are. You're facing away from me. Oh, hello, Bert. Yeah. More bristlies. Dwarf neon rainbow. Black neons. More bristlies. Oh, there's the adult pelvic chromis. Well, the male anyway. And dog digging again. But yeah. All sorts of interesting stuffs. Well, interesting to me anyway. Yeah, they are. I'm thoroughly enjoying the Limia. Again, I'm still not sure because I see different things where some say they're endangered and others say they're not. The Perugiae, but they either are or they aren't. And if different places are saying different things, I'm guessing they're probably on the verge. Still need more Shelleys. The Rasboras, the ones, yes, the 5, they're still doing good in with the blue shrimpies. Scootering about, munching away happily, not on the shrimp. But yeah, they're all good. The Kubla Khan, Kubatai, whatever they're called. Green micro Rasboras with flashy blue bits on them. Yeah, they're all doing good. yeah, everything's doing well at the moment, thankfully. So the only thing I seem to be having issues with is bacterial blooms of late. But not going to moan about that, because if you've got a bacterial bloom, it means you've definitely got no ammonia in the tank. Um, and I know the reason why I get the blooms is because there's that much pleco poop gets produced in these tanks that I have to clean the filters out so regularly that, yeah. Um, I think, yeah, yesterday I cleaned out 4 of these. I had full water change and filter cleans on Monday, and I had to do 4 of them again yesterday because the power filters were blocked up, which is why you get the bloom. Yeah, the Cubits are doing well. No sign of any babies, but this is me, so I probably won't see them until I'm going. Why have I suddenly got 8 raspberries, 9? Oh, bugger, they're breeding. Um, I mean, let's be honest, that's what happened with the Corys, and Corys aren't exactly small. I didn't notice I had baby Corys until one suddenly turned up that was about ½ inch long. What the heck? Just sat there in front of me one day, going, "Hello, my name is Trundle. I'm your new friend." And yes, I called him Trundle because Trundle's about the tank and ominoms on things. But yeah, definitely, yeah, more Shelleys. Well, that is the plan way down the line. Once I finally get another fry rack and get that sorted, then eventually I want to get a Mega Flex. And you're going to like this idea, Sean. A Mega Flex, sand, rocks, like basically 2 rock piles either corner because the filter's in the middle. And then some flavour of Shelly on the bottom, maybe some Ockies or some Malties, and then either some Geolithochromis or Brichardi trundling around higher up. Does that sound a good plan to you? Have we ever heard of Helix? As in the band, or, oh, pardon me, people who used to make the geometry sets for high school and the rulers? Now, I know Debbie, Kay, and Dan all had a Helix shatterproof ruler at school. The reason they were shatterproof is they were actually made out of polycarbonate. Ugh, there's one set up there. The clear ruler or rule, so that you can just go, oh, are these bristle noses big enough to sell? Because they'll sell at 1 inch. When it's stuck on the front of the glass, you just hold the ruler up and go, yep. Oh, a Megaflex with stand over here is about 500, which is what, 700? Yeah, probably. Actually, I don't know. The pound's crashed lately. But yeah, around $750 for a Megaflex with stand. So, gulp. Then you add in heaters, air pumps, sand, rock, all that stuff, shells. It soon adds up. And Chewy's looking for footage of Lake Tanganyikans. Well, if you want any of Neolamprologus similis, let me know. I do a harvest with you. Yeah, so what we're going to do, Dan, we're going to stick a divider down the middle of it and then have like basically two normal flexes. Actually, I wonder if you could do that. Just silicone two flexes together and drill holes between the two. Or just cut a big chunk out of the glass on one end of both and then just... So let me know what you want, Chewy, and I'll see what I can do. Spent less on my 280, which super shady deal from a drug dealer, but still, yeah, exactly. So did you want any commentary or just me to literally just stand there and wave the camera about in front of some fish for a bit? So I remember I did one for introduce yourself and where you're from. I can manage that. Hello, Dave. Oh, hello. One is a Sharpie of Sharpies, Fish and Phantoms. And these are my shell dwellers and my Britzonos plecos. Make it really obvious I'm English. Like 1,060 litre, yeah, $500 and acrylic, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to be trying to lift a 280-gallon glass tank. Mine will have belladonna music behind it. I actually got some belladonna growing in the garden. So, you know, if people around here upset me and start randomly dying, and they can't figure out why, but their eyes have turned violet, yeah. You didn't make meds or poison. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to use it as a makeup. I was going to put drops of it into my eyes to make them turn lavender. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some gloves on and pull it all up and throw it away because I know no wild animal is going to be dumb enough to eat it, but and it's in the back garden, so no one else can get in there. But you never know. If it were to see the spread to someone else's garden, they might think, "Oh, what are these lovely berries? Let me eat one." Yeah. At least it is a natural native plant, though. So harvest some for safety. Yeah, just have a bag full of them in the fridge. I want a video of the giant cichlid of Lake Tanganyika, and it's impossible to find except on National Geographic, which means copyrights. Yes. Though people are finding ways around that, cropping and reversing pictures, slightly changing the colour, that kind of thing. You never know when I might need it. And let's be honest, if there's anyone's fridge or freezer where punnet or a bag full of berries is going to be completely safe and not going to be eaten, it's mine. Although if I dried them out, I could always substitute them for someone else's raisins or currants or blueberries even. There we go, belladonna muffins. How does that sound? Yeah, those with the brambles and the nettles, I think I'm pretty safe from people breaking in through the back. And a yew tree. We do use belladonna in our homeopathy med manufacturing. I suppose a lot of these things in very small doses is actually beneficial, but in larger doses it's lethal. Much like foxgloves, digitalis, beautiful plant. No, the sap of it will kill you if you ingest it, and it just tastes like sugar. Trying to find videos of endangered Lake Victoria cichlids. There are videos of fishing lakes around that lake. The general hobbyists don't have any. Yeah, this is it. It's if you're trying to find the rare fish, chances are people haven't got them, or if they have got them, they're not going to be willing to hand over footage of them. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to clean the glass on that tank first before I take any video of it. You'd think after a couple of years the diatoms would stop turning up, but you know, Shelleys, so they don't eat them. And there's my company make homeopathy, but it's placebo. Yes, it doesn't do anything. Speaking of Tanganyika, watching Gogglebox, and they covered a supernatural planet, Tanganyika, and that was hilarious. There are guys in Britain, and you are a cichlid keeper, you would meet them in the British Cichlid Association. Yes. Well, I'm not in the British Cichlid Association. Minor problem. And I forget the comedian that said it, but it's basically said any club that wants me as a member, I don't want to be a part of. Or I wouldn't want to be a member of a club that would have me as a member. I actually got booted from the Live Bearers group. Someone was explaining what their posh guppy were, and I went, "Oh, you mean it's a mutt?" And yeah, that didn't go down well. Actually, I think the British Cichlid group, I might have been kicked out of there as well for. They were talking about OBE haps and all these kind of weirdnesses, and I went, "Oh, you mean mutt cichlids?" I get really upset when you call them mutt cichlids. It's a hybrid, it's a mutt. Knew a young aquarist a few years back that belonged to that organisation. I don't, pass. I actually know more American fishy peeps and fishy groups than I do English ones. That's because of the sheer lack of British YouTubers, really. Moving to Manchester in January, possibly they'll make a new office there. Want to go back to London or Cambridge? Yeah, don't blame me. I wouldn't want to go to Manchester either. I went there once. Don't want to go back if I can help it. It's full of Northerners. At least down here I can go to Thetford, and it's full of people I can understand. About the same. Ooh, pardon me, that one squeaked out. Yeah. Oh, no offense to Northerners, but well, they're just rather northern. I'll try and stay south of the Watford Gap if I can manage it. One reason why I like Norfolk, it's kind of stuck out in the corner of the country away from everyone else. They have to go through Suffolk and Cambridge to get here first. Howdy, Mana, how you doing? I know Dan had to get his passport out and get a bunch of shots to move up to Scotland. So down Hamburg and Cairo, yeah, they're both cool places. I feel safer in Hamburg over every place in there. Cairo would be cool because of the videos I can make there, but it's just way too hot for me. In Hamburg, yeah. So Sean, Dr. Paul Wazell, founder of the ACA, the American Cichlid Association, suggests shell dwellers for nano aquariums. It all depends on what you're calling a nano aquarium, because I've got them in a 15-gallon and they're perfectly happy. I suppose if you can have one or two, then yeah, possibly in something smaller. But yeah, 20-gallon or less is fine. However, factories and Hamburgs, that's still an option. Cool. So I think if I was in Germany or what have you, there would be some fairly chilling videos, because if I was over there, I would be visiting Dachau, Auschwitz, Colditz, all these kind of places. Yeah. So anything under 20 gallons is nano. So I've got one tank that isn't nano. Cool. So yeah, bristle noses, good for a nano tank. You can breed them in them. And next on Sharpie upsets the fish police. That's happening tomorrow. Yeah, so make a note in your diary. Check out tomorrow's video because it's going to upset some people. I mean, it's another one of my speaking common sense videos, but it's just going to upset certain people who are super fans of a certain magical product. That's why I want the Plegos, nano-sized tanks, and cichlids are friends for them. Yeah, so I can do. So I've got the Shellies, the Bristlies. So I'm guessing you want the Bristlies in a tank, then in not just like breedy tanks. Limias. I'll say most of my fish are in. Well, most of my fish are under 10 gallon. I've only got 4. I've literally only got 4 tanks that are above 10 gallon. So yeah, bred them in under 20, but honestly prefer 33 long. Never get the damn things, so 20 longs tend to work well. Yeah. What other fish does George keep? I can't remember. I cannot remember. Checkerboards. Yes, there we go. I used to have the butterfly cichlids in a 15, and they were good. They were very nice. Randomly, they were shrimp friendly as well. Well, I mean, I guess they were because there was an accidental shrimp colony in that tank. Want new fish, but don't know what to get. Shellies, or plecos, good-eared limias, pistos, cribblies, tributaries of the Black River, where the purr goes down to 4. Yeah. The Black River has 4 purrs. Oh, that gives me another idea for an upsetting people video. TDS pens, that'll be a good one. That'll upset people. Have cichlids, don't like plecos, some are so overpriced. The 2 fish that you said hobbyists to keep neutral pH is the guide. Yeah, I don't have anything that's a neutral pH. I think the only thing I did have on my pond is, and the outdoor shrimp tub was neutral pH, but they've gone from rainwater to pH 7.8, hardness off the scale overnight, basically. Yeah, there we go. There's an idea. Do you reckon if I did a video about TDS pens, I might upset people? Soft water is checkerboards, hard water is shell dwellers. Well, yeah, shellies in hard water. They do like to chew on their water. But yeah, if I was going for a 20-gallon and I wanted some cichlids in there for soft water, I would probably go with pistogrammas, to be honest. Have this drop-off tank, the salt water for years. Now I want it to be fresh. What do I think would be good in a drop-off? Eels, maybe, possibly. Depends on the size of the eel and the size of the tank. Or you could go away from fish and go something like a newt or a frog, something like that. I got some newts in my LFS. Newts. Can upset some people. I don't make the video now. There's an astro turtle, yes. Yeah. My mind is blank. But you can never go wrong with bristlenoses, happy caras, and snails. Like Shawnee Sean, his thing is, don't forget, set up a shell dweller tank. Mine should be, don't forget, set up a bristlenose tank. Every tank is better with a bristlenose in it. Now, I was wondering today just how many people's tanks in East Anglia have got one of my bristlenoses in now. I think it's probably every single one at this point. Pardon me. Videos that I do also get put in the Italian Cichlid Association forum as Marco is the director. Ah, cool. Be Marco Isidori. Or Isidori, if you pronounce it correctly. I know at the end it's going to be for discus or flower horn. I don't think it's something good. Don't go with silly sauce of fish or mutant heads. Danny Boy's on holiday. He's in Amsterdam, avoiding the chaos of this week. Good job I didn't pop in then on my way back from Norwich. I was thinking of popping in and saying hi, maybe buying something, but I was worn out and my feet hurt and my legs hurt after traipsing around Norwich for 6 hours, so I decided not to. Chilling in a hotel, going out later. Cool. Let me guess, at some point during one day, you're going to find a local fish store and go for a wander around. Seems to be a thing people do when they've got a hobby and they go on holiday, is they find uh, model makers. They go on holiday somewhere, they hunt out the model shop. Fish people will hunt out the fish shop. There's probably a bunch of English fish keepers who have um, got the little no fishing signs that say Pada Pesh on them. When Sharpie had dual cichlids, you remember him well then, Chewy, because I only had him out of quarantine for about a day. I think I had him for 3 weeks in total. Answer to new fish, shell dwellers. There's always shell dwellers. Maybe apistos. Yeah, exactly. Hard water, shellies, soft water, apistos. Holiday is a dream. Don't know when I went on one last. I remember my last holiday. I don't want to go on another one. At some point, hopefully next year, money being good and both getting the right time off work. Mary and myself will be taking a long weekend somewhere, hopefully, visiting historical places and camping, because it's likely to be cheaper to buy a tent and all the stuff we need to go in it than it is have a hotel room for a couple of days. But I've got to run. I'll be back in a minute or two. See a lot of people on social media. Yeah. Well, Amano, if people are asking about that, a certain Mr. Daniel Keeping Fish has got a superb video on that. Link your vid, Dan. Oh, that's better. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've not seen other people doing them. One more, two more, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are things you can do. I mean, literally just dropping the temperature by a couple of degrees in the tanks. It's going to make a difference because the most expensive part of running fish tanks is the heaters. The LED lights, unless you're running ludicrous Kessels and things like that, the tuna suns, just your standard fish tank lights, cost pennies at most. Same with most filters, unless you're running lots of big canisters. Yeah, it is the heating. So things like, it's been a bit warm for me today. Not going to lie. Yeah, I know it's October and Sharpie's complaining it's still too hot. So I could quite happily have had the back door open today, get the fresh air, cool, lovely. But that's just going to kick all the heaters on in all the tanks. It's going to cost a fortune. So I'd rather be a bit warm and uncomfortable than, yeah. I think the main thing is you want lids on to keep the heat in. You want, as I say, drop your temperatures a couple of degrees. If you can turn your lights down a little bit, that's going to help a bit. Insulating the tanks is the best thing you can do. And I won't do it on the majority of, say, my display tanks. But these I could quite easily use either polystyrene sheet, jab light, or the stuff you stick behind the radiators on the wall, the reflective thermal stuff that stops the heat from going into the wall and reflects it back out in the room. Literally just stick that around 3 sides of the tanks. Yeah, some are leaving the hobby because they don't know how to reduce the costs. Yeah, that's one reason why. Yeah, stick a blanket over it at night. Yeah, I mean, if it's a relatively loose knit blanket, that'll do the trick. Finally, something to do with those crochet blankets your grandmother gave you. They might get a bit mouldy though, but yeah, never mind. Soon wash them. Yeah, so that's one reason why for next year, rather than doing cherry shrimp outside, I'm looking at probably doing a cool cold water fish. It's a fairly short list at the moment of ideas that. So it's like rice fish, white clouds in the various flavors. Rainbow shiners is currently the ones that are on the list. White clouds are easy to get hold of and get them no problems. Rice fish are a bit trickier over here for some reason, or if you can get them, they're ludicrously expensive. And I've only seen rainbow shiners in 1 or 2 places, but I don't think they were expensive. And it's where the rainbow shiners can go in a 10-gallon tank that's got minimal filtration. You can't keep white clouds in Canada. Oh yeah, because they'll survive if they escape. Ricky, if I flooded my entire garden, it wouldn't be big enough for a sturgeon. I couldn't even put some of them in my pond. I couldn't even put sterlet in my pond. It's got 3 comets in there, and that's plenty. Actually, 3 comets, and there's a couple of mollies in there, and there's probably some cherry shrimp in it now as well. Yeah, so yeah, saw some in the garden centre. Yes. I've seen sterlets as recently as this year. Not sturgeon, but sterlets. And I have seen sturgeon for sale as well, but you know, um, there are people around here who do have ludicrously large ponds because there are a lot of stately homes around here with rather large ponds. Mollies are affected by temperature except for one species. Hello, Sherry. Now, the reason there are two mollies in the pond is because they're the ones I used to basically get things moving in the shrimp tub. I stuck them in there, and they were in there a couple of weeks or so. And it was like, right, time to put the shrimp in and take the mollies out. And I was like, where am I going to put the mollies? I don't want to put them back into a tank just in case they've come down with a dose of something from being outside. You know, where they picked up worms or something. So yeah, they went in the pond. I do apologise. They may have been a death sentence, but they were mollies. Ones in Florida can handle down to 55F. Well, there's only room temperature tank cherry shrimp don't need a heater, to be honest. The very reason don't have is done out to cool a huge pond. Oh yeah, the big sailfin mollies. Yeah, they will do cool water. Yeah, we got the opposite problem. How to stop ponds freezing solid. Yeah, yeah, it's one thing I always go, huh? What? When I see the post about bringing my koi in for the winter, and it's someone who lives in the UK, and I'm thinking, why? Why would you bother? You do realise they just Cyprinus carpio, they're perfectly happy in our winter temperatures. Expert is Charles Clapsaddle. What a name from Goliad Farms. We shouldn't breed if they don't have a heater. The ones I had outside did. The ones I have indoors, well, they do have a heater, but it's set very low. Basically, they don't come on. Yeah, I mean, cherry shrimp are fine at room temperature. Obviously, unless you have your room temperature at like 6 degrees. 6 degrees or something. But so the ones I had outside went from air temperatures of 42°C to air temperatures of 8°C. And when I emptied that tub out, if you look at the video, there were shrimplets in there. Now, admittedly, there weren't hundreds and thousands of them, which there could have been. But bear in mind that the extremes that tank went through temperature-wise, water parameter-wise, depth-wise, other things living in there that, yeah, probably were eating them because there were bloodworms and mosquito larvae and snails, yeah, all sorts living in there. Show's got amanos, they don't breed, they need brackish water. Yes, they do. They're like nerites. So that would probably be a good idea or a fun idea. And as amano shrimp is here, what do you reckon, bud? Brackish tank with amano shrimp and nerites? That'd be quite an amusing one. Yeah, so white card's an invasive species in northern climes. Yes, it will survive. Whether they'd all get eaten over here by the perch, probably the case. as a shoal of perch would make a hell of a mess of a shoal of white clouds. You get a bundle of a couple of hundred perch come flying at them, though. Yeah. Banned fishing at Canada. So yeah, that's kind of my list of things for outdoors. Don't have any good invasive stuff here. US took everything. So small, what could they possibly damage? Well, it's not actually what they damage, it's what they eat. Because, being egg scatterers, they do eat fish eggs. So, so any other small species, if they got outcompeted by the white clouds, and native species tend to be somewhat more timid than invasives generally. That's why they're invasive. So, I mean, for example, over here, they'd probably do for our minnows, 3-spine, 5-spine sticklebacks, simply because they'd eat the eggs in the nests, even if they didn't eat all the food that the other fish wanted. As Chewy says, yeah, the banff, long-nosed dace. Oh, pardon me. Endemic to the Banff hot springs. Let me guess, mollies, guppies, and rice fish. Yeah, so the only real issue we have with invasive species of fish in the UK, don't get me started on the mitten crabs or the bloody American signal crayfish, but the only issue you have with invasive fish is goldfish. Because goldfish will survive in our water year round. So goldfish gets too big for the tank, or they decide they don't want the tank, and they dump the fish in the lake or the pond, and goldfish will freely interbreed with both common carp and crucian carp. Now, common carp nobody's worried about, but crucian carp, Carassius auratus, while not endangered, are on decline. And they're fairly common around this area, but other parts of the country they don't exist anymore. And the problem is, when they do interbreed with the goldie fish, you get the hybrids, and you don't want the hybrids when you're trying to protect a species. And trust me, no one needs to pretty up the crucian carp. It is a beautiful fish. And the least carp looking of fish you can imagine. Dual cichlids in the Banff hot springs are protected by law. Yeah, that sounds about right. They got in there, no one realised they protected it by. They then protected it, and now you can't get rid of them. Yay! Yeah. Yes, the invasive dual cichlids in Canada are protected. Go bureaucracy! Well, I'm sure it's one of those things where someone snuck in there and hoofed them all out. I don't think anyone will be too upset about it. Because I can't imagine that dual cichlids are particularly tricky to catch. It's not like they're good at hiding or they're well camouflaged or anything. Being like bright red and metallic, they're fairly easy to spot. probably relatively easy to catch on rod and line as well, using something like a maggot as bait. Obviously a fairly tiny hook, but you know, I have caught far smaller fish on rod and line than a dual cichlid. At least that's the problem. You don't want them to survive. They're invasive species. You want them to die. They shouldn't be there. They've been introduced by man into somewhere they shouldn't be, like the lionfish in Florida and all down the east coast of the US. Although they are actually doing something about those. But dual cichlids are pretty, and they're not edible really. Something that our friend found a full-grown Oscar in a small ditch. Yeah, people dump them. Yeah, people do it. I mean, I'm entirely accidentally, but I'm 100% sure there's been ramshorn snails, trumpet snails, bladder snails, pond snails, cherry shrimp, probably bristlenose, probably guppies, molly or platies, mollies, probably all gone down my sink at some point. Pacu, Arab Pimer, Gars, and whatnot, in great invasive. See them in the village fish market, sold for meat. No, I mean, let's be honest. A Pacu or an Arab Pimer is going to feed a family for a week easy. A Pacu, plenty of meat on them and all. The introduction was long ago due to mozzie outbreak, and guppies don't eat mozzies. No, they don't. Might eat the larva, but the larva will be in still water rather than running water. Yeah, I'm sure there are better ideas of fish to introduce if you want to get rid of mosquitoes. Perhaps, I don't know, mosquito fish. And again, if you've got a big outbreak, they're going to run out of food and die off. Pacu tastes like cack. Arapaima tastes like barramundi. I've not had barramundi and I've not eaten cack. So I'm assuming Pacu is probably like carp, where you need to keep it in fresh clean water, like in a fish tank for a couple of weeks to clear it out. Angels, all kind of things is a bit crazy. Are we talking about a certain lady that was based in Florida, Sean? A certain lady I haven't seen hide nor hair of lately. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the spoken language at least to a level, Ricky. Not allowed to keep native fish. You're allowed to learn about them. Most common fish in Canada. Oh, yeah. In the UK, the most common fish is probably the Carpius chavius. Yeah, it used to be the pike. Actually, probably the most common fish in the UK, I would say, is a roach or perch. Yeah, either rutilus or Perca fluviatilis. Both very pretty fishies. Yeah, I was just trying to rack my head for what would be a very common Canadian. No, like the English equivalent would be an Essex fish. Then get more common than that. Says the guy originally from Hertfordshire. Yeah, the heat has done that to a lot of places. Chewy, our native species and rivers and stuff have suffered this year. I say a couple of the local small streams completely dried up. All the ponds on Old Buckingham Village Green completely dried up. So anything that was living in there is no more. At least of the streams, as they dry up, the fish would move down as to stay wet, unless they get caught in a pool. But so hopefully, as the streams refill, then the fish will move back into them. But you never know. And that is why I was able to film the video I filmed on Friday, or for Friday. I didn't film it on Friday. It's been affected. It's just too damn hot, Sherry. Same as it's been here. It's too hot. The water levels drop. The water temperatures go up, and this native fish species can't deal with it. So, yeah, over 1,000 salmon died because their stream just doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it dried up. Best tasting fish is the Asian arowana. Finally, a good use for an Asian arowana, or an arowana of any description. Grilled and deep fried. 2.3 kg fish died. Not going to give it to the crows and others to eat from the dumpster, so I cooked it. Yeah, sensible. Bit like that episode of The Simpsons when Homer had the pet lobster and decided to give it a nice hot bath and cooked it. Just sat there crying as he ate it. He ate it with the butter. Yeah, the temperature of the med's gone up. Hence why we're starting to see more exotic species of shark in the Mediterranean. Yes, white sharks have been spotted in the Mediterranean. Yay! Yeah, if it's too warm, fish like salmon and grayling won't breed, because they breed when the water's at a certain temperature, and if the water doesn't cool down that much, they don't breed. And it's a trick you can do in an aquarium as well. A cool water change will trigger spawning in some fish. A study with a master's student from a university I teach communication. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Arrows are, yeah, they are good for slapping people in the face. They're good, long and hard. That's what she said. Yeah, I mean, they're not exactly what I'd call overly pretty fish. They get huge, so you need a massive tank. So we're into that. I keep monster fish thing again, and they're just suicidal. I'm drinking Relentless, which is a cheaper form of Monster. Cost of living. Yeah, like 4 cans for £3 rather than 1.75 a can. So saving a few pennies, and kind of got the taste for it now. It was a case of being out of work for so long that we're broke. Switch to cheaper varieties of things quick. But yeah, I am working again now, so bonus. Quick money to breed. Yeah, it's a big, expensive fish that likes to commit suicide. I don't. It just doesn't compute in my head. It's bad enough with something little like a killifish when it decides it's going to jump out or jump into the filter or whatever. When it's something you spent a couple of $100 or a couple of £100 on, and you come down in the morning and there it is laying dead on the floor because it's managed to jump out of it or knock the lid off the tank and jump out. No. Yeah, that's it, Sean. People have them because they're big. Because they're big and expensive. That's why people keep them. It's not because they're particularly attractive fish. Yeah, so some of the Asian arrows do have very nice colours, but otherwise, most of them tend just to be big silver grump fish that just sort of do that in what is generally a very bare tank up until that point where they either brain themselves on the lid or jump completely out. Yeah, sturgeon do have a very wide range, and a lot of people are thinking that a lot of lake monster stories, like Nessie or Champ or the Lake Ogopogo, is that the Canadian one, Lake Ogopogo monster? A lot of people are thinking they're just very large sturgeon. Yeah, exactly. If you got a tank that's big enough for a arowana, just think of all the other cool stuff in the tank you could have. I mean, yeah, whether it's Shelley's and Julie's or whatever. I mean, just think a 300-gallon tank. Think of the size of the shell dweller colony you could have in there, or anything. Guppies, mollies, platties, anything like that would be more interesting to watch. I mean, geez, how many bristlenoses do you think I'd keep in a 300-gallon? How scientists work out how sturgeons can tolerate such different water conditions? To be fair, the temperatures are usually fairly similar, as they're a river fish generally. And river water does tend to be cooler than sort of lake water because it's constantly moving and is usually fed by meltwater from mountains. So if you go to the upstream sections of the Amazon basin, we'll go with, because I know Chewy gets upset when I just call it the Amazon to cover everything. So you've got your Paliatus cories, which like cool water. They don't like tropical temperatures. Various other different species. Bristlenose is quite happy. I mean, some of these bristlenose tanks are virtually room temperature. But yeah, there's so much more interesting things, to me at least, that you could do with a big tank than just have one or two fish in it. And okay, yeah, you might breed your monster fish, but then who are you going to sell them to? Let's be honest, the only people who have like the 280, 300-gallon plus tanks are people who like us. Right? There's only a finite amount of us. So if you breed 100 Dovi or Jaguars, you got to find 100 people with tanks big enough to take them that haven't already got other things in that tank. Like I was saying in my breeding for profit video, you don't know, you breed what you can sell. But yeah, like I say, if I remember, Chewy, you might need to poke me a few times because I forget stuff fairly quickly. But if I do remember, I will shoot you those videos on some Shelleys and some bristly nosies. Just quick ones, and then I'll stick them up. I'll either Actually, probably the easiest way is I just upload them, keep them private, and then send you the link. That's probably the easiest way. Then you can download it from YouTube. Hello, Adele. Just in time. Just in time for the end of the show, I'm afraid, my dear. Yeah. Just upload it as usual. Yeah, I'll upload it and keep it private, and then send you the link. Because that way, then hopefully you won't get rattled for copyright. But yeah, we do tend to have smaller tanks in the UK than and in Europe than America does, because we have smaller houses, which is why you don't tend to see many monster fish over here. But anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for turning up. Obviously, with it being Aqua Shelatober Fish Con Fest, whatever, this weekend, been a bit quiet, but hopefully we kept you occupado for a couple of hours. As I say, tune in tomorrow for one that's going to upset people. Have a great week. Peace out. Stay safe. Rock on. And bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah.